Hey guys, ArchieLuxury on the Pluta channel doing paid review 21QB141. This here is for Lorenzo. This is a bit of an update there. Hi Paul, I'm attaching a request for a follow-up review of my collection that you performed last year for me. I am also attaching a few photos of the collection for your review. He goes on to say, your content is fantastic and it's given me hours of enjoyment. I often have been listening to your videos as I recently had to drive several days a few times a week for work, but listening to your review makes that time much more manageable. Brilliant. Best to you and look forward to your honest and insightful review, Lorenzo. Okie dokie. So then let's have a look here what he said here. Let's have a look at the update there. Greetings, Archie. I hope the past year has treated you well. I'm sending you $65 US to your PayPal account in support of your programming for the following review of my updated wristwatch collection and advice as to where I should take it in the future. I value your opinion as to how I should properly build a collection. Also, I would like your opinion on what you believe is the true meaning of a grail watch. A grail watch. Okay, a reminder of my collection. This is from review 20SE78. A little over a year ago, you reviewed my collection, which consisted of the following, in no particular order: Rolex Air King 116900, bought new at the AD, box and papers. A Rolex Datejust 36mm 16234, no holes case, Jubilee, fluted bezel, white dial with Romans, bought used, box and papers. A Rolex GMT Master 2 116710 LN, black, bought used, box and papers. An Omega Speedmaster Professional Man on the Moon manual wind Halcylite, bought new in 2018. Substantial discount, full big box set, box and papers. A Tudor Heritage Black Bay, in-house black bezel, leather strap, bought at Joma Shop, box, no papers. And a Breguet Type 20 Erin Veil on polished steel bracelet, bought on the grey market, no box or papers. I'm very happy with this 6-watch collection, but in my prior collection review, I raised the concern that the 36mm Datejust was a bit small for my wrist. In asking your advice if I should keep it, you suggested that only I could answer this question, but I should consider keeping it because it was a different size watch compared to the others in the collection. The 36mm Datejust was lovely, but each time I put it on, it was simply programmed to believe it was just too small. So rather than be slightly disappointed each time I wore it, I decided to sell it, and I decided so very successfully on Chrono 24, where I earned 50% over my original investment from the past 18 months. I wanted very much to replace the Datejust with a 41mm version of what I previously owned, and through persistence and perhaps a bit of luck, I was able to purchase one from my local AD at retail price. A Datejust 41 126334, Jubilee bezel, fluted bezel, white dial and Roman numerals. The watch is stunning, and I couldn't be happier with the decision to go with the larger model. This past year, I was also able to purchase the following from 2 separate ADs at retail price: a Datejust 41, reference 126300, oyster bracelet, smooth bezel and rhodium dial, and a Rolex Submariner two-tone bluesy, reference 126613 LB. The bluesy was a watch I really wanted to have, and I was able to get it from my local AD due to a 10-year long relationship I had with them, buying jewelry as gifts over the years. When the call from the AD came that it was available to me due to my years of loyalty. There was no hesitation on my part, and I purchased it the same day. In addition to the 3 Rolexes, I also added a Breitling Super Ocean Heritage 2 42mm with the B20 movement, Milanese bracelet, black dial, and black ceramic bezel, purchased new from Grey Market at a 33% discount. I've been looking to add this watch for a few years and finally had an opportunity to do so. Growing the collection to 9 watches is completely fine for me, but I would still like to add 2 or 3 more watches in the next year, not for the sake of adding to fill the watch box, but to add pieces that I think are interesting and beautiful to look at. Question 1. What is your opinion of the current state of my collection? Well, I think it's it's a really nice collection. It's not ridiculous. I mean, it's got its bounds. Like, I mean, it's not an AP or a Patek collection, but I quite like a usable, workable Rolex. That's nothing to be sniffed at. Those are very hard watches to get. Let's just have a recap. We got the Air King, which I've owned the new Air King. Absolutely great watch. Beautiful. You got rid of the 36. We'll talk about that. But you got the black GMT Master 2. The ceramic. That's a beautiful GMT. You got the Omega Speedmaster Professional Man on the Moon. Tudor Black Bay. Breguet Type 20. You got the Datejust 126334 Jubilee bracelet, fluted bezel, white gold. That's a beautiful big size Datejust. You've got a 126300. That's a steel smooth oyster rhodium dial Datejust. And you got a bluesy. And you've got a Breitling Super Ocean Heritage 2. So really, really nice, heavy Rolex. Always nice to see a collection. Rolex is becoming so hard to get. Man, you are very, very lucky. So what do I think of the collection? I think it's amazing. It's usable. Personally, I think this is perfect. Like, I don't even want to see Patek or AP or Lange in this collection. I think this is sports usable Rolex, and Rolex is getting so hard to get, you can't beat that. So I'd say this collection here, this is an 8 out of 10. Pretty damn good. So that's my opinion there. Question 2, if you were to add to this collection, which of my below suggestions do you think works well, or should I be thinking of purchasing higher up the chain? What are some pieces you would suggest would elevate or otherwise fit well into this collection? I'm not very keen to elevate from Rolex. Rolex is the hardest commodity to get. You've got a lot of Rolex. I am interested in adding one of the following: a Zenith El Primero Chronomaster 1969 open heart silver dial, or a IWC Portuguesa white dial, as well as an additional dress horology timepiece. You previously suggested I add a Patek Calatrava 5196, but to be honest, I'm not fond of the idea of spending over 20,000 on a watch I find smallish at 37mm, and which has an unremarkable looking dial. Ooh. 2 alternatives I'm considering is the Breguet Classique 18K white gold retrograde, or the ArchieLuxury calendar moon phase. Do you think any of these would be a good addition to my collection, or simply adding a Zenith, IWC, Breguet, or JLC is just excessive box filler? Keep in mind I'm comfortable spending up to 15,000. What would stretch beyond that if I find something that is special to me? I got to be totally honest with you. I think you missed the point. A dress watch is not supposed to be huge. They're supposed to be discreet. It's the whole reason for the genre. It's supposed to be a discreet. It's not supposed to be fancy wancy. And if you think the Calatrava is plain, ooh, ouch, ouch, ouch. Let's be honest there. I think the Zenith would be a great addition. The open heart, beautiful. Forget the IWC. IWC really, they're really. I like the Portuguese. I don't know why. That's something you'd buy if you're a chronograph fan. The Zenith is a great watch. Haute horology and a great history. I reckon that's a great watch to add. You don't like the Patek? Maybe a Lange, but see, I think I'll be honest with you. I really wouldn't, the Breguet itself there, you know what? I don't know if it adds anything really special to the collection. Or a JLC. JLC, look, I'd possibly say a JLC Reverso would be cool because it's steel and it fits in with your sporting theme. You know what? Just forget it. Don't worry about adding dress watch. Any analog watch these days is a dress watch. So that's where I would be heading. I can tell you that now. Yeah, so look, I'll be honest with you. I would stay away from the Breguet unless you really love that model. I don't just add it for the sake of adding it. The Zenith is cool, very cool. Maybe dress watch aren't your thing, okay? Here we go. Number 3. He's asking a lot of questions, this guy, for 65 bucks. Number 3, I asked my Rolex AD about the chances of obtaining a new Submariner ceramic or a GMT Master 2 Pepsi on a Jubilee. I was told that if one of them eventually came, they would give me a call and offer one to me. I was told it would take some time, which is fine because I'm in no hurry. If I ever get the call from the ID, should I jump and buy the available watch, or do you think adding another Rolex in the collection would make it too Rolex heavy, or maybe enough is enough? If you think adding another Rolex to the collection works well, which of the Rolex ceramic, the Rolex Submariner ceramic or GMT Pepsi would you consider? Look, let's back the truck up. Let's be completely frank here. I can smell bullshit, Lorenzo. Come on, let's not bullshit me here. If you were offered either of those, you grab the bloody thing. Adding more Rolex, you're scared of defeat. You know yourself, the chance of getting one is impossible. You grab whatever you can. These things are worth thousands. Okay? The way you've worded this, you grab whatever you can get. You grab any of those hot watches, a Pepsi, a Batgirl, a Batman, a whatever you can get, a Cermet, you grab, or even a non-Cermet, just a steel Submariner, no date or date, you grab it, man. If you can get that at retail, grab it. It's not about which one do I think. That's only if you're paying Pipers. If you're paying the grey market, then you think about which one do you really want. If you can get one at 8, the only thing I would say is I think you've probably got enough Datejust. I wouldn't add any more Datejust because they're not, well, look, Datejust, actually the funny thing is you get offered a Datejust with a blue dial, you'd probably grab the bloody thing, wouldn't you? You'd have to. Look, my advice to you would be to grab whatever hot Rolex you can get at retail within reasons. I mean, obviously if they offer you a Yachtmaster 2 in solid gold, it's a fortune. We've all got limits. Even though you like to pretend there's no limit, come on, let's not bullshit. You're with a friend, okay? You can't bullshit a bullshitter. So I would say whatever, if you can get any of those Steel Sports Rolexes, you grab them. Number 4, is your opinion, what is the criteria of a grail? Is it based solely on price, scarcity, exclusivity, something else? I hear the phrase thrown all the time by various YouTubers and enthusiasts, and I thought about this concept after I picked up the Bluesy. I never considered the Bluesy to be my grail, and I honestly cannot think of a watch right now I would consider to be a grail for me. He goes on to say, Archie, thanks again for another year of fine entertainment. As always, stay healthy and keep up the good work. Happy holidays for you and your family. Every success in 2022, Lorenzo. Okay, so what's a grail? Look, a grail is something different to different people. A grail is something different to different people. Like you might have I think a grail is something you wanted or desired for a long time. Now, it's not for me to say whether that grail is worthy or not. In my own case, I tell you what grails there were for me. I always wanted a Patek Philippe with multiple eyes. I thought that was multiple eyes, like that could be like a calendar, perpetual calendar, annual calendar, a chronograph. I thought if it had multiple eyes, it's a complicated Patek. That was a grail to me because it was so unobtainable. Now, that was a grail, and I got the annual calendar. I got the 5035, which, to be completely honest with you, it's actually reasonable value. You can get that in the 20s US, because it's wee bit small, and it's got potential, but so to me, that was my grail. I wanted a complicated Patek. Nowadays, let me tell you this. What I'm finding is with a lot of new collectors, guess what their grail is? They're saying things like a Rolex Submariner. That's a grail. I even know one guy, Timely, his grail is an Air King, the new Air King. That's a grail because it's really hard to get. It's something he really wants there. So it's not for me to say whether a grail is worthy or not. A grail is a different thing to different people. Okay, so different thing to different people. A grail, it's basically a watch you've wanted for a long time. Let me give you an example. My dad was always a Mercedes guy. He loved Mercedes. Mercedes was always his brand. Okay, and my dad, he never really understood W123s, W12. He just knew he wanted, that was his grail car, a Mercedes. Never wanted Porsche, never wanted a Rolls Royce. He wanted Mercedes. That was it, a Mercedes. Now, he got a C250, then we sold that and got a C200. That was his grail car, a decent Mercedes Benz. Some people would say a C200 is not a decent Benz, but they're quite expensive in Australia. So that was his grail. Now, it didn't have to be a car from 1970. In fact, he wanted a modern one. In my case, the grail, it could be something like, it could be a platinum da-da-da-da, or it could be a yellow gold da-da-da-da. I remember, so for me, my grails, I remember swimming in a pool in Pattaya in 2004, and I said, if I had unlimited money, what watch would I get? And I said, you know what? The World Time. The World Time had come out. It was being advertised. That's the 5110, like the series I've got. I thought that was completely unobtainable. They were so expensive. I thought I'd have as much chance of winning the lottery than ever being able to afford one of those. And I said, what metal, what would I want? I worked out my grail would be a white gold 5110. It was completely unreachable. At the time, it was completely unreachable No way in the world could I get one of those. And then, what happened then? Well, let me tell you, I managed to get it. Now, people would then say, oh, you should have gone for the new one. It's my fantasy. This is not your fantasy. This is my fantasy. You understand? It's my fantasy watch. What did I think was special? And for me, the grail was the world time. That was my grail. Now, the question is, once you get your grail, do you get another grail? Possibly. It's up to you. To me, I think the two grails that I really wanted, I remember I wanted a Patek. This was from this is early 2000s. I worked out I'd love to have a Patek with multiple eyes. So that could be a annual calendar, perpetual calendar. It could be a chronograph, any of those watches with multiple eyes. I thought that was expensive Patek. And then the other grail I wanted was the world time, because I thought, gee, that's such a fascinating complication. So that was my grail. This was a dream nearly 20 years ago, 16, 17 years ago. So that was something I really wanted. It was a point in time where that's what my brain, if I won the lottery, I would have bought one. And that's kind of the special. The grail is something special. I always wanted that. There's another guy called Jake's Rolex blog, Jake Erwick. And he had he's got a very good vlog he does on watches and that. He was talking, his grail was a 3940, a Patek Perpetual Calendar. Now, admittedly, I didn't even know what a bloody 3940 was until, much later than when he was lusting after it. But it's a Perpetual Calendar Patek, automatic. And I believe Houdinki, that was kind of his grail as well. And yeah, I completely get it. He really wanted it. Now you might say, oh, 3940, 36 mil. Bit small, but that's his grail. That's his fantasy. It's whatever that person wanted. Looking back, when I look back when I was swimming in that pool in Pattaya, I wanted a world time, a 5110 series. I didn't even know about the new model. The new model came out in 2006. I wanted that 5110. It's like I wanted an E-Class Mercedes from the 80s. It'd be a W123 or a W124. That's what I wanted. I wasn't dreaming of the next model. I wanted that. That's what the grail is. It's something for you. It's your fantasy. So in this day and age, with Rolex being as hard as it is, Steel Sports is a grail to many people. Does that mean they got inferior dreams to me? No, it's different timing, different fantasy, okay? That doesn't mean nothing. It's just, this is what the grail is. So I find a grail, as I'm getting older, I'm nearly 50, I think of a grail and say, that's the watch I wanted years ago when I was slimmer, sexier, and younger. I look back on that with envy because I'd like to go back to that time. That was my grail. For me, I had a few grails. Another grail contender was actually a bluesy sub, a 16613. I wanted one of those for years. I wanted one of those since the 90s, all through the mid to late 90s. I wanted one of those. I had a day date. That was a grail. A day date was actually my first grail. Let me say that. For me, I remember I got the Rolex catalog when I got my Rolex. Before I got my Explorer 1 1016, I got the catalog from Hardy Brothers, and it had a solid gold day date on the cover, an 18238. That was my grail, a solid gold day date. I thought, wow, that'd be incredible. It was only 36 mil. They didn't have the 40 then. It was the 36 mil. And I remember it was the champagne dial. I think they had a ladies and a men's on the cover, if I'm right. I can't quite recall. It was either 1 or 2, I can't remember. And I thought, wow, to have a solid gold day date, that'd be incredible. That was a grail. Now, I've achieved some of those grails. Unfortunately, for personal reasons, I had to sell them again. But that was the grail. That was my grail at the time. So, different watch to different people. I'm not here to say your grail is wrong or bad or what. It's what you really wanted and couldn't easily achieve. I think that's the grail. And in this neck of the woods, I tell you what, the modern grails now are Submariner. Steel Submariner is a grail. A Pepsi, a Batgirl, a Batman, all this shit is grail. A Panda. Oh, that has all become... Now, it's whatever you want it to be. So, there you go. That's my grail conclusion. I think I've given you good value there for $65. I'm ArchieLuxury. Thank you. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Remember, guys, I can't survive on Google Ads. I desperately need more paid reviews to survive. Paid reviews keep me full-time on YouTube. Okay, guys, I'll catch you in the next one.